Hello students, myself Amrita Dhar, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JIS Group. I will teach you Power System 3.
In this video, I will discuss about model of speed governing system and model of turbine. These subtopics under the topic load frequency control for single area, and this topic is included in module 3 of the subject Power System 3. Subject code is EE-703A. Power system operation considered so far was under conditions of steady load. However, both the active and reactive power demand are never steady and they continually change with the rising or falling trend. Steam input to turbo generators or water input to hydro generator must therefore be continuously regulated to match the active power demand, failing which the machine speed will vary with consequent change in the frequency, which may be highly undesirable. Maximum permissible change in frequency is plus minus 0.5 Hz. The frequency is the variation in the frequency is undesirable because change in frequency causes change in speed of the consumer's plant affecting a production process. Further, it is necessary to maintain network frequency constant so that the power station runs satisfactorily in parallel. The various motors operating on the system run at desired speed. Correct time is obtained from synchronous clock in the system and the entertaining devices function properly. Also, the excitation of generator must be continuously regulated to match the reactive power demand with reactive generation. Otherwise, the voltages at various system buses may go beyond the prescribed limits. In modern large interconnected systems, manual regulations is not feasible and therefore automatic generation and voltage regulation equipment is installed on each generator. Now this figure gives the schematic diagram of load frequency and excitation voltage regulator of a turbo generator. The controllers are set for a particular operating conditions and they take care of small changes in load demand without frequency and voltage exceeding the prescribed limit. With the passage of time, as the change in load demand becomes large, the controller must be reset either manually or automatically. For small changes in active power is dependent on the internal machine angle delta and is independent of the bus voltage. While the bus voltage is dependent on the machine excitation, therefore on reactive power Q and is independent of the machine angle delta. Change in angle delta is caused by momentary change in generator speed and therefore load frequency and excitation voltage controls are non-interactive for small changes and can be modeled and analyzed independently. Furthermore, excitation voltage control is fast acting in which the major time constant encountered is that of the generator field, and while the power frequency control is slow acting with major time constant contributed by the turbine and generator moment of inertia. This time constant is much larger than that of the generator field. Thus, the transient in excitation voltage control vanishes much faster and do not affect the dynamics of power frequency control. Now, changes in load demand can be identified as slow varying changes in mean demand and fast random variations around the mean. The regulator must be designed to be sensitive to fast random changes, otherwise the system will prone to hunting, resulting in excessive wear and tear of the rotating machine and control equipments. Now this portion is the excited voltage control and this portion controls the frequency and this portion controls the voltage. Now the system voltage is fed to this frequency sensor and comparator, and this equipment compare the system frequency with the reference frequency, and the error is sent to the system valve controller. Now if the frequency is increased, then the system valve controller closes the valve so that the flow of steam is less and the frequency is adjusted. Now if the frequency is less, then the steam valve opens more and more steam will enter into the turbine, and turbine produces more power and thus the frequency increased. Now in this part, this device compare the system voltage with the reference voltage, and the error sends to the excitation controller, and according to error the excitation controller control the field of the generator so that the system voltage is matches with the reference voltages. Next is the load frequency control for single area. Let us consider the problem of controlling the power output of the generators of a closely knit electric area so as to maintain the scheduled frequency. All the generators in such an area constitute a coherent group so that all the generators speed up and slow down together, maintaining their relative power angle. Such an area is defined as the control area. The boundaries of the control area will generally coincide with that of an individual electricity board. Now to understand the load frequency control problem, let us consider a single turbo generator system supplying an isolated load. Now this figure shows the schematic diagram of the speed governing system of a steam turbine. The system consists of flywheel governor, hydraulic amplifier, linkage mechanism and speed changer. So first, flywheel speed governor. This is the heart of the system which senses the change in speed, that is frequency. As the speed increases, the flywheel move outwards and the point B on the linkage mechanism move downwards. The reverse happens when the speed decreases. That when frequency is increased, this move up outwards, so B move downwards. As B move downwards, C is also move downwards, and as C move downwards, D is moves downwards. Now if frequency is less in the system, then this flywheel contracts and B moves upward. Accordingly, C move upward and D move upwards. Next is the hydraulic amplifier. Now it comprises a pilot valve and the main piston arrangement. Low power level pilot valve movement is converted into high power level piston valve movement. This is necessary in order to open or close steam valve against the high pressure steam. Now when B moves downwards, C moves downwards, accordingly D moves downwards, and this passage opens. Now oil rushes in this direction and moves the main piston upwards, and the piston closes the opening of the valve and less steam is entered to the turbine, so power generated is less, so frequency is reduced. So now if the frequency is less in the system, so we have to increase the frequency. Now if frequency is less in the system, this contracts, B move upward, accordingly C move upward and D move upward. And now as D move upward, this passage opens and oil rushes in this direction and move main piston in the downwards. So the main piston opens the steam valve and more steam enter to the turbine and generate the more power, which increase the frequency. Next is the linkage mechanism. ABC is the rigid link pivoted at B and CD is the rigid link pivoted at D. Now this link mechanism provides a movement to the control valve in proportion to change in speed. It also provides a feedback from the steam valve movement. Next is the speed changer. It provides a steady state power output setting for the turbine. Its downward movement opens the upper pilot valve so that More steam is admitted to the turbine under steady condition, hence more steady power output. The reverse happen for the upward movement of the speed changer. Assume that the system is initially operating under steady conditions. The linkage mechanism stationary and pilot valve closed. Steam valve open by a definite magnitude, turbine running at constant speed with turbine power output balancing the generator load. Let the operating condition be characterized by F0 is the system frequency, Pg0 is the generator output which is equal to turbine output if we neglect the losses, YE is the steam valve opening setting. Now we shall obtain a linear incremental model around this operating condition. Let A on the linkage mechanism be moved downward by a small amount of delta YA, and it is a command which causes the turbine output to change and therefore can be written as delta YA equals to Kc delta Pc, where delta Pc is the commanded increase in the power. The command signal delta Pc, that is delta YE, sets into motion a sequence of events. The pilot valve moved upwards, high pressure oil on the top of the main piston, moving it downwards, the steam valve opening consequently increases and the turbine generator speed increases, that is frequency goes up. I have described this in previous slide. Now these events mathematically contribute two factors. First, delta YA contributes minus L2 by L1 delta YA, or we can write minus L2 by L1 as K1. So delta YA contributes minus K1 delta YA, that is upwards of minus K1 Kc delta Pc. Now as the movement of delta YA is proportional to movement of the speed changer, so we write delta YA equals to Kc into delta Pc. So we put in place of delta YA Kc into delta Pc. Now second, increased frequency delta F causes the flyball to move outward, so that B move downward by a proportional amount K2 dash delta F. The consequent movement of C with A remaining fixed at delta YA is L1 plus L2 by L1 into K2 dash delta F. Now L1 plus L2 by L1 into K2 dash is equals to K2, so this equals to K2 into delta F. So the net movement of C is therefore delta YC minus K1 Kc delta Pc plus K2 delta F. If the frequency increased, this expands and B move downwards, so accordingly C move downwards, and as the speed changer move upwards, so the point A move upwards, so accordingly the point C move downwards. So C has two movement, one is due to speed changer and one is due to this frequency. Now the movement of YD is amount by which the pilot valve opens. It is contributed by delta C and delta YE. Now the movement of D is contributed by delta C and delta E. Now which is equal to L4 by L3 plus L4 into delta YC plus L3 by L3 plus L4 into delta YE. Now L4 by L3 plus L4 is equal to K3 and L3 by L3 plus L4 is equals to K4. These are the constants. Now L3 is the distance between C and D, and L4 is the distance between D and E. Next, delta YE is equal to K50 to K minus delta YD into dt. This minus sign is because the direction of D point and E point is opposite, and the total amount of oil entering at time dt is equal to integration 0 to K minus delta YD dt into constant K5. The movement of D, if the D move downwards, then oil rushes into in this direction and move the main piston in upward direction, and if D moves upward direction, then this passage opens and oil rushes in this direction and push the main piston in the downward direction. So the direction of D and E is reverse. Now taking the Laplace transformation of the equation of this equation, and this equation, we get delta YCS is equals to minus K1 Kc delta PCS plus K2 delta Fs. Delta YDS equals to K3 delta YCS plus K4 delta YES. Delta YES is equal to minus K5 1 by S delta YDS. Eliminating delta YC and delta YDS, we find the expression of delta YES. Now I will do board work to derive this expression for delta ES. Delta YES is equals to minus K5 1 by S delta YDS. Now in place of YDS we can write minus K5 by S YDS is equal to K3 delta YC S plus K4 delta YES. Okay. Now in place of delta YC we can write K3 into K1 Kc delta PCS plus K2 delta Fs. This is the value of delta YC plus K4 delta YES. K4 delta YES. Now minus K5 by S is equal to K3 K1 Kc delta PCS plus K2 K3 delta Fs plus K4 delta YES. Again this is become plus K1 K3 K5 Kc by S delta PCS minus K2 K3 K5 by S delta Fs minus K4 K5 S delta YES. Now first delta YES is equals to 1 plus K4 K5 by S. This is equals to K1 K3 K5 Kc by S delta PCS minus K2 K3 K5 by S delta Fs. Now delta YES S plus K4 K5 by S is equals to K1 K3 K5 Kc by S delta PCS minus K2 K3 K5 by S delta Fs. Now cancel out S. Delta YES is equal to K1 K3 K5 Kc by S plus K4 K5 delta Pc minus K2 K3 K5 by S plus K4 K5 into delta Fs. Now from here take common K1 K3 K5 Kc by S plus K4 K5. This is equals to delta PCS minus K3 K5. So K2 by K1 Kc into delta Fs. Now assume that K1 Kc by K2 is equals to R. This is the speed regulation of the governor. Ksg is equal to K1 K3 Kc by K4. This is the gain of the speed governor, and Tsg is equal to 1 by K4 K5. So this is equal to delta PCS minus R is K1 Kc by K2, so this is 1 by R into delta Fs. Okay, K2 by K1 Kc is equal to 1 by R because R is equal to K1 Kc by K2. Next, if we take common K1 K3 Kc K1 K3 by K4 sorry, this is K5 K1 K3 Kc K5 by K4 K5 common, then this is equal to 1 by 1 plus S by K4 K5. Now this is now K5 K5 is cancelled out, and K1 K3 Kc by K4 is equal to Ksg. So we can write Ksg, and Tsg is 1 K4 plus K5. So this is equals to 1 plus S into Tsg, because Tsg is equal to 1 by K4 plus K5. Okay, so delta PCS minus 1 by R delta Fs. This is equals to delta YES. So the model of speed governing system, this is the input delta PCS, and this is another input delta Fs, and feedback gain is 1 by R, and the system gain is Ksg 1 plus S into Tsg. Now next, turbine model. Now let us relate the dynamic response of a steam turbine in terms of changes in the power output to changes in the steam valve opening delta YE. Now this figure shows us two-stage turbine with a reheat unit, and the dynamic response is largely influenced by two factors. First, entrained steam between the inlet valve and the first stage of the turbine, and the storage action in the reheater, which causes the output low pressure stage to lag behind that of the high pressure stage. Thus, the turbine transfer function is characterized by the two time constants. For ease of operation, ease of analysis, it will be assumed here that the turbine can be modeled to have a single equivalent time constants. Now the second figure shows the transfer function model of a steam turbine, and the time constant Tt lies in the range 0.2 to 0.25 s. Here the input is delta YES and output is delta PTS, and the gain is KT by 1 plus TT into S.
That's all from today's class. If you have any problem, please contact with me. My contact details is given on the first slide. Thank you.